Namo Myoho Renge Kyo, Namo Myoho Renge Kyo, Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. Right. How are you today? I hope this finds you in good health and secure. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your practice, most of all, I should say. All right. So, thereupon the Bhagavat, wanting to elaborate the meaning of this further, uttered these verses. So, we are in the second chapter of the Lotus Sutra, the BDK translation. Somebody asked, by the way, about the meaning of omniscience in the context of this translation. And if you're not familiar with the word omniscience, it's basically an all-knowing kind of, mind state. So it's really a reference to what we more commonly talk about, Buddha-ness, being an ultimate clarity, an ultimate understanding of how all phenomena in the universe operate, right? Moment to moment to moment to moment, reinstantiating constantly from a stream, a momentum of karma, the engine of life. So omniscience is a reference to that experience, that mental state of experiencing things as they truly are, rather than filtered through all our predilections, our epistemology, remember that word? Our attachments, our cravings, our clingings. They cloud our ability to see the truth. They cloud our ability to understand what is actually occurring, because samsarically our mind wants to attach all sorts of motives and emotions and blah, blah, blah. And it colors the way we see things. Remember the fountain analogy? Okay. So omniscience in this translation is pointing to that clarity, that unobfuscated seeing of what is actually occurring, the truth. Yeah? All right, so we're still in Skillful Means, and now Shakyamuni is going to speak, reiterating what he was in conversation about, but from his point of view, what Skillful Means is. In the Fourfold Assembly, there were 5,000 monks and nuns who were excessively proud, right? Another way of saying arrogant. They thought of themselves quite highly. Laymen who were arrogant, and laywomen who were unaccepting. Interesting. So he's looking at male-female dynamics, and the translation is trying to capture these dynamics through these words. But you can see the effort is being made to say that, men, when they think they've achieved something they have not, which is something we read repeatedly, get a little haughty, a little proud of themselves, yeah? And it prevents them, what we were just talking about, it prevents them from seeing clearly because they're attached and they cling to what they've accomplished. And women do the same thing, but their attitude about it, remember, Buddhism is about the mind, attitude, and intent, they're unaccepting. So it's the same thing, but females tend to, no, you can't tell me that because I already know this. They're not so arrogant about it, but they kind of are a guillotine about new information, right? It's the same thing. They did not see their own defects, right? Being faulty in self-discipline. And so what does he mean there? Being faulty about not being mindful, not being constantly aware, relying on craving and clinging of attitudes, right? And clung to their shortcomings. clinging. These of little wisdom have already left. He's talking about the arhats and the hinayana people right now. Oh, we already know. We don't need to stay here and listen to you any further. It's the first thing he opens up with. Through the virtuous dignity of the Buddha, the dregs of the assembly have departed. So now, in retrospect, thinking of H. Kern's translation saying the trash is out, well, you know, a lot of people take exception to this, but they have to understand that there's a strictness to Buddhism. You either are or you aren't. You're either doing it correctly or you belong to everything that isn't Buddhism. I mean, read Nichiren, right? The errors in 8 schools. He doesn't point it out to make them feel bad. He doesn't point it out as Shakyamuni is to make them, to advertise their stupidity. He wants them to take this seriously. Right? Strict teachers are often misunderstood as being unkind or mean-spirited. But that's not the case, especially today where we live in a world of identity politics and, ooh, you hurt my feelings, and da-da-da-da-da. Understand, what we're talking about here is incredibly precious, so clear that to deviate from it is you're insulting yourself. This is the tone you should be hearing. Stop that. Not because you're an idiot. You're being foolish. You're being hurtful to yourself. And I don't want to tolerate that. I know better of you. That's the sense to hear this kind of strictness. Yeah? I know you're capable. I sound like a parent now, right? Well, to be in Buddha-ness is to be a steward, a parent, a loving. When you behave this way, it hurts me deeply because I know better. Okay? The dregs of the assembly have departed, having little virtue. With all of the instructions I've given them for 42 years, this is how they behave? He has a right to call them out, doesn't he? Yeah. These people were incapable of accepting the Dharma. Free of useless twigs and leaves, only the pure essence of this assembly remains. So, not only has he ragged on these people who are walking away from this most precious opportunity, but at the same time, he's letting those that remain, he reminds them of their virtue, their humility, that they're still open to accepting that there's more to learn. There's always more to learn. O Shariputra, listen carefully. All the Buddhas teach the Dharma that they have attained through the immeasurable power of skillful means for the sake of sentient beings. Now take note, you might read that as being all these other Buddhas who've achieved stuff they teach. But he's talking about our own enlightenment, right? When he says all the Buddhas teach the Dharma, that's you and I. When we enlighten ourselves chanting Namo Myo Renge Kyo, we experience Buddha-ness, and we carry that into our daily life. And to the degree that we can share it, consciously or not, We do. At whatever level, what does he say? That they have attained. He doesn't just say they attained it. He says that they attained. So that's the level of enlightenment, awakening that you've attained. Through the immeasurable power of skillful means. In other words, you're going to communicate Buddha-ness through your own path, your own understanding. That's okay, as long as it agrees with the teachings and you don't just go off into la-la land. Don't make it up. Just express what you know, what you have attained. Do you see? That's why we chant first, because we all know that, for sure. For the sake of sentient beings. Completely knowing their intentions, right? Attitude and intent. Their various ways of practice. Not that we practice differently, but the ways our mind inculcates the practice, our own individual paths. Their wishes and capacities, there it is again, and the good and bad karma of their previous lives, their previous time, previous moment to moment to moment, birth, death, right? How we've come to these realizations. We're aware that's our path. That's what we can share. The Buddha gladdens all sentient beings with the power of words and skillful means, using examples and illustrations. The Buddha teaches by means of sutras, verses, stories of his past deeds and of past events, miraculous tales, explanatory tales, allegories, poems, and exegesis. In other words, I exhort you to make effort in this way. That's an exegesis, yeah? The Buddha teaches nirvana. What is that? Escape from samsara, right? The Buddha teaches how to escape that condition that causes your suffering. To those with dull faculties who are satisfied with lowly aspirations and attached to birth and death, who have not practiced the profound path, in the presence of innumerable Buddhas, and are confused by suffering. They're still craving and clinging, and they think that's life. They have a real difficult time. I can let go of that? I should let go of that? Why should I? I love my stuff. Having devised this skillful means, I enable them to enter the wisdom of the Buddhas. He's really talking about his 42 previous years to this teaching. So, like the Innumerable Meanings Sutra, he's once again trying to get those who don't yet understand that it's not that he lied or that those teachings aren't valuable, but understand their place in the periods of this teaching and why this now, the Lotus Sutra, is the ultimate teaching. This has all been preparatory, right? But I've never said that all of you would attain the path of Buddhas. Yeesh. I've never said this because the occasion never arose. Wow, those people that left, they obviously think he did, or they think it for themselves. But here he is saying, I never said that what you were doing was going to make you attain Buddhahood. I simply said this is the way to that. There's a difference. Now is precisely the right time for me to teach definitively the Mahayana, the great vehicle, the one vehicle. Yeah? I apply these 9 kinds of teachings according to the capacities of sentient beings. Once again, he reminds, I teach to the ability of others, now I teach to the ability of me. I teach these sutras because they are the basis for entering the Mahayana. Another way of saying preparatory. I teach the Mahayana Sutras to those heirs of the Buddhas who are pure in mind, mild, and receptive, have keen faculties, you really pay attention, and who have practiced the profound path under immeasurable Buddhas. Every time you chant, you're under the influence of Buddha-ness, yes? With every daimoku. Why do you think Nichiren tells that elderly woman, yes, it's, the full practice is reciting the entire sutra. The modified practice or the abbreviated practice is just doing the gongyo that you and I do. It's fine. But at very least, and most importantly, chant the daimoku, because that is awakening your Buddha-ness. That is you under the influence of your own omniscience. Even if you do it just once. And that's not a suggestion to practice that way. It's simply the importance of the daimoku. Obviously, if something enlightens you, you want to do it as much as possible, right? Otherwise, do you really understand the preciousness and the power of this self-awakening? I predict that such people will attain the path of the Buddhas in their future. It says future lives, but you understand, moment to moment, right? Because they keep the Buddhas in mind. And that's the whole thing about being a bodhisattva, staying aware, staying in that Buddha-ness. That's our difficulty in samsara, right? With profound thoughts and practice pure conduct. In other words, conduct motivated by, supported by, and under the surveillance of our Buddha mind. Hearing that they shall attain Buddhahood, they will be filled with great joy, one would hope, yeah? Because a Buddha knows their intentions, he teaches the Mahayana. Those Shravakas, or Bodhisattvas, who have heard even a single verse of the Dharma that I have taught, will all become Buddhas. Now he is making the prediction, isn't he? That if you hear what I'm saying and you practice to awaken your Buddha-ness, then you will attain Buddha-ness. There can be no doubt about it. In the Buddha worlds of the 10 directions, there is only the Dharma of the single vehicle, Myoho Renge Kyo. Apart from the skillful means of the Buddhas, there is neither a second nor a third vehicle. Now, this is speaking directly to the bodhisattva behavior, isn't it? There is neither a second nor a third. Apart from the skillful means of the Buddhas, in other words, your Buddha-ness drives and gives you the wisdom to communicate the Mahayana to others, bodhisattva. There is no other vehicle. This is it. A Buddha merely uses provisional words. There's that language thing again. In order to lead sentient beings. You lead by what you know, not what you think you know, right? Not stories you make up, but as actual experience. I was chanting the other day. Something happened to me yesterday. So I went to see I have all these medical appointments. As you get older, you can look forward to that. And I was having problems with the new doctor they had given me, and we weren't communicating well. And I was chanting about it, and I was just chanting with that in my samsaric mind. I was worried about it a lot, really meditating about it. When I chanted, I just wanted to have Buddha-ness inform my life, right? And I'd written a letter to the head doctor that I've seen for over a decade. I didn't want to be the shit disturber, the person who makes problems. I hate doing that. But there had to be a change. And so I made the cause to write a letter to the head doctor, who I respect deeply. And I put it in an envelope, and I brought it with me to my appointment to give to him, so behind the scenes, no one else would read it, and he could consider advising this situation. Either something's wrong with this doctor, or I just need a different doctor. I don't know. I don't have the people skills or the knowledge, I told him, to navigate this. It's just not ameliorating. It's not getting any better. And I walked in, and I asked, what doctor am I seeing? Dr. Rayford today, which is my long-term doctor. Sorry, I didn't mean to name drop there. So I could hand him the letter personally, or was it this other doctor I'm having a problem with, so I could hand a nurse or somebody else this letter so she didn't read it? Anyway, all that drama is going through my head. Nobody knew what doctor I was seeing. And so I end up in the patient room, and I'm waiting, and I'm seeing a new doctor. And he walks in, and I introduce, we have a handshake, we talk, and it just flows. It's just wondrous. And I asked him, I said, "Are you my new physician? Did something happen behind the scenes that I'm not aware of, right?" I didn't say that. I just said, "Are you my new?" He goes, "I could be. If that's what you want, I'll make sure I do your future appointments, and we'll just start our relation." And I thought, holy crap. Chanting is freaking amazing. I took the letter back. I said, well, we don't need to. Somehow, this problem resolved itself. And I was having sleepless nights trying to figure out how can I use Buddhism to fix this? How is it? I don't know what to do anymore. I've tried everything. And I guess that extra act of just writing out my thoughts in a diplomatic Buddhist way to try to resolve the situation. I walked in the next day, and it was done. It was resolved. Is that omniscience? It may have been at work, but I'm still a stupid human. I had to see it happen, and I knew immediately. It's almost like I couldn't wipe the smile off my face. Wow, the power of this practice is just mind-blowing. Anyway, a little anecdote I thought I'd share with you. Let's get back to this. It's not about me, right? All the Buddhas appear in the world to teach the wisdom of the Buddhas. Again, this is a statement of actual bodhisattva work, right? Only this one thing is real. The other two are not true. The other two being learning and realization. Sravaka, Pratyeka Buddha. Hammering on this over and over again. That's not it. They are steps to get to this. This is it. In the end, a Buddha does not save sentient beings. What? Through an inferior vehicle. The Buddhas themselves abide in the Mahayana. The Buddhas themselves abide in the Mahayana. It's a process. That's what abide means. Constantly working on. We would do well to remember that. That's why we practice, quote unquote. The Dharma that they have attained is adorned with meditation, wisdom, and power. And through these they save the sentient beings. By sharing these, by communicating this experience, we raise the consciousness of those others around us, right? We imbue, if we can, the wisdom we attain. You don't have to color it. It's your path. They need to find their own insights, as I always say, right? You can't hand somebody Buddha-ness. All you can do is share with them your own real, true experience. And the quickest way to do that is how? Chant with them. Okay. I would be ungenerous if I were to lead and inspire even a single person through an inferior vehicle. Don't mess around. Having attained the highest path, the universal Dharma of the Mahayana was the goal from the start, yes? This is simply not possible. If anyone takes refuge in the Buddha, the Tathagata will not deceive him. A Tathagata has neither stinginess nor jealousy and has detached himself from the evils of the phenomenal world, samsara. That is why the Buddhas of the 10 directions are the only ones who have no fear. Having a body adorned with the marks of a Buddha, emitting a ray of light that illuminates the worlds and revered by immeasurable sentient beings, I teach the signs of the true aspects of the phenomenal world. O Shariputra, you should now know, that originally I made a vow to make all sentient beings my equal without any difference. Right? Remember the story of Siddhartha sees all this pain and anxiety and stress? He says there has to be a way that we can live this life to the full. Whatever our situation, doesn't matter. It's about how we perceive and experience the world that is everything. Why should we dive into suffering of any sort as a refuge? Why can't we take a refuge in the amazing, precious opportunity of every moment? It doesn't matter if you experience all kinds of difficulties. The difficulties don't have to be who you are. And having released yourself from that self-torture of experience, what does that look like? How do I get there? How do I do it? That's what motivated his 12 years of incredible self-searching study. And Buddha-ness is what he found. This is what he's sharing, yeah? Now I have already fulfilled this vow that I made in the past. I will lead and inspire all sentient beings and cause them to enter the path of the Buddhas. If I meet sentient beings and taught them till the end the path of the Buddhas, those with little understanding would be confused and perplexed and would not accept the teachings. I know that these sentient beings have never cultivated the roots of good merit. They just haven't been motivated, and nothing seems to motivate them. And that's painful, but it's a choice. They are attached to the desires of the 5 senses, the skandhas, the samsaric mind. Disordered by delusion and passion, and have fallen into the 3 troubled states of being because of these desires. hell, hunger, and animality. They are wandering through the 6 transmigratory states, the 6 lower worlds. You know this from the realms, yeah? Tormented by every kind of suffering. They are continually being born as tiny embryos in one world after another, moment to moment, right? They're always starting over, right? Why is this always happening to me? Why do I just go there? Why do I always meet people like this? Why do I always end up here? Because you're rebirthing in every moment as a little baby embryo, starting over with your karma, not changing anything, just repeating. Well, these people of few qualities and little merit are afflicted by various sufferings. Afflicted because they crave and cling to them. That's the affliction. They enter into the jungle of 62 false views, such as this exists or this does not exist. I'm telling you, you could take little paragraphs out of this as teaching tools. And that next time you hear your friend going, I don't know why I keep doing this. Oh, I remember where Buddha talked about that. Listen to this. Chant with me. Listen to this. Just, this 4-line stanza. Let's just talk about that. Oh, wait a minute. Didn't Nichiren say that? And how did Shakyamuni say? Agatha. Just 4 lines of verse. Well, it's amazing, isn't it? This constant repetition of the same thing, and we hear it as a bunch of different, I'm so confused. Just listen. Pay attention. They are so firmly and deeply attached to false teachings that they cannot get rid of them. They are arrogant, proud, deceitful, and dishonest. They have heard neither the names nor the true Dharma of the Buddhas for thousands of myriads of kotis of kalpas. This has been the way of mankind forever. Such people are difficult to help. It says save here, but that word gets in the way, doesn't it? That is why, O Shariputra, I devised the method of teaching, the way to extinguish all suffering through nirvana. Even though I taught nirvana, it is not the true extinction. Every existing thing from the very beginning has always had the mark of quiescence. You've heard me talk about the engine of life. Here he is talking about it in the same words, well, via this translation. From quiescence through formations, through form, karma. That is karma. Right? Not good or bad, just is. The repercussions of what it is, the way that we work with what it is, the way we influence what it is, well, that is what we take advantage of with our practice. We are influencing every bit of that karma. The heirs of the Buddhas who practice this path will thereafter become Buddhas in the future. Do you have any doubt? With the power of skillful means, I have presented the teachings of the 3 vehicles, yet all of the Bhagavats teach the path of the single vehicle. This great assembly should now rid itself of confusion. So he's saying, you guys have done a great job, but what you know isn't all there is to know. Now I'm telling you what all of this has been about, what you've been prepared for. The words of the Buddhas are not inconsistent. Once again, there will be many people who will hear this, who've learned previous teachings, spent years learning previous teachings, and think that that's all they need. But all of it was in order to get them here. It's kind of taking footsteps toward a goal, And then at some random pause where you stop to take a drink of water, maybe eat a little snack, you get back up and you look at the goal and you go, man, I'm already there. I took enough footsteps. How silly would you look or sound? No, you're not there yet. There is only the single vehicle. There is no other. In the past innumerable kalpas, there appeared immeasurable and incalculable Buddhas, hundreds of thousands of myriads of kotis in number, who have attained parinirvana. All the Bhagavats taught the characteristics of all dharmas with the power of innumerable skillful means. Using various examples and illustrations, all these Bhagavats taught the dharma of the single vehicle, led and inspired immeasurable sentient beings, and enabled them to enter the path of the Buddhas. Understanding the deepest desires of the entire world, of the devas, humans, and other beings, the great sage Lord has illuminated the highest meaning with diverse skillful means all those sentient beings who encountered and heard the teachings of the Buddhas of the past, and who accumulated various merits through acts of giving, integrity, perseverance, diligence, meditation, and wisdom, the 6 perfections, have certainly attained the path of Buddhas. And after the parinirvana of the Buddhas, those sentient beings with well-governed minds have certainly attained the path of the Buddhas. After the Buddhas attained parinirvana, all those who paid homage to the relics, who made myriads of kotis of stupas, extensively and beautifully adorned with gold, silver, crystal, mother of pearl, agate, ruby, lapis lazuli, and pearl, those who made rock stupas, stupas of the sandal, aloe, deodar, and other woods, as well as brick, tile, mud, and other materials, all those who made Buddha's stupas out of piles of earth in desolate places, and even children in play who made Buddha stupas out of heaps of sand, all such people have certainly attained the path of the Buddhas. Intent, intent, intent. Attitude and intent. All those who made images of the Buddha, carved it with extraordinary marks, have certainly attained the path of the Buddhas. All those who made Buddha images out of 7 treasures, decorated them with brass, copper, pewter, lead, tin, iron, wood, mud, glue, lacquer, and cloth, have certainly attained the path of the Buddhas. He's talking about attitude and intent. All those who made or had others make Buddha images, painted with 100 embellishing marks of merit, have certainly attained the path of the Buddhas. This even includes children in play who have drawn a Buddha image with a blade of grass or twig, brush, or fingernail. Such people have gradually accumulated merit and perfected the great compassion, have certainly attained the path of the Buddhas. Leading and inspiring the bodhisattvas, they save countless sentient beings. There's that save thing again. Those who paid homage to stupas, sculpted or painted images, honoring them with flowers, perfumes, banners, and canopies. Those who paid homage with all kinds of sweet music, drums, horns, conches, pipes, flutes, lutes, harps, mandolins, gongs, and cymbals. Those who joyfully praised the qualities of the Buddhas with various songs or even with a single low-pitched sound have certainly attained the path of the Buddhas. Path, okay? Those who even with distracted minds have offered a single flower to a painted image will in time see immeasurable Buddhas. It's the effort, the intent. Or those who have done obeisance to images, or merely pressed their palms together, or raised a single hand, or nodded their heads, will in due time see immeasurable Buddhas. Just get committed. Make a determination. Chant once a day. They will attain the highest path and extensively assist, facilitate innumerable sentient beings. They will enter nirvana without residue. Just as fire goes out after its wood is exhausted, those who, even with distracted minds, entered a stupa compound and chanted but once, homage to the Buddha, Namo Myoho Renge Kyo, have certainly attained the path of Buddhas. Anyone who heard this teaching either in the presence of a past Buddha or after their parinirvana has certainly attained the path of the Buddhas. The future Bhagavats, Tathagatas, immeasurable in number, will teach the Dharma with skillful means. I'm going to stop here. All the Tathagatas, 9b, will influence, facilitate sentient beings. That's coming up next. What do you think? It's really powerful stuff. I think it's essential, though, that as you read, you understand the meaning, why he's saying these words, what he's indicating. Yeah? Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. What amazing stuff. Thank you. Thank you for being here along with me, for listening, if you're listening to a podcast. Thank you for your practice. Take a moment, if you would, please, to like and subscribe. It's so meaningful. It's a bodhisattva act. Helps grow the Sangha, to propagate this teaching, this resource, which all the links in the description, threefoldlotus.com, ebooks, mandala, so on. Yeah. All right. I'm going to let you go. And I look forward to continuing and ending this Skillful Means chapter. And then we're going to enter the first parable in the Lotus Sutra. That'll be fun. In the meantime, be kind to yourself. Take care of your health. It's so important these days. There's so much struggle in the world right now. The very least we can do is stay healthy so we can be ready to respond, right? All right. Bye for now.